ahead.
Good. Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Shyam Sundar. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Arvindaksh Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksh Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shyam Gauri Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to
Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidas.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Anda Gupta Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to you, Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Dandavat Pranam. This is Hari Radha from Fairfax, Virginia.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Radha Mataji. Thank you for joining the call, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Varsha from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Varsha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Induleka Karuna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Induleka Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? So let's move on to the next one. Welcome to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhu for enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, 18th chapter and 19th verse. And I would like to give to Tiffany Mataji for giving the brief introduction for Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji was born in Maharashtra, India in 1980. Brought up in a social background where spirituality was often questioned, he developed a natural taste for inquiry into the mysteries of God's creation. Prabhuji passed College of Engineering in Pune in mechanical engineering in 2003, and he came in touch with the devotees of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in 2003 and found all his questions answered in the books of Srila Prabhupada. As an MBA student of finance, he studied Srila Prabhupada's books and became a sincere practitioner. He joined the NCDEX, National Commodities and Derivatives Exchange in Mumbai, as assistant manager and worked for 3 years. Later, he took on a 2-year brahmachari training course in Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Temple in Mumbai and was initiated into the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2010. Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji always wanted to share his joy for Krishna consciousness with the youth, so he gave up his job and began serving in the youth preaching department. He joined ISKCON Chowpatty as a resident in 2009, and later he was posted to the ISKCON Nasik temple. He is serving as a youth counselor in various colleges in Nasik, and he conducts seminars on personality development topics in educational and corporate sectors. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sukumar Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We have Prabhuji. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare
Can
Krishna.
you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Thank you. Just give me a minute. I'll just make a setting here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can you please tilt your camera down a little bit because we only see
Yes,
the top part of your head.
just give me a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Is it okay? Now, can you all see?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Mama Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamulam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Tam Suchitam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Visha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminathanamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all devotees for this Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter 18, text 19. Striyo vrataistva rishikeshwaram swato ya aradya loke patimashatenyam tasam nate vai paripantya patyam priyam danayusham yato aswatantrata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, you are certainly the fully independent master of the senses. Therefore, all women who worship you by strictly observing vows because they wish to acquire a husband to satisfy their senses are surely under illusion. They do not know that such a husband cannot actually give protection to them or their children, nor can he protect their wealth or duration of life, for he himself is dependent on time. Creative results are and the modes of nature, which are all subordinate to you. In this verse, Lakshmi Devi Rama shows compassion towards women who worship the Lord for the benediction of possessing a good husband. Although such women desire to be happy with children, wealth, a long duration of life, and everything dear to them, they cannot possibly do so. In the material world, a so-called husband is dependent on the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many examples of women whose husband, being dependent on the results of his own fruitive actions, cannot maintain his wife, her children, her wealth, or her duration of life. Therefore, factually, the only real husband of all women is Krishna, the supreme husband. Because the gopis were liberated souls, they understood this fact. Therefore, they rejected their material husbands and accepted Krishna as the real husband. Krishna is the real husband, not only of the gopis, but every living entity. Everyone should perfectly understand that Krishna is the real husband of all the living entities who are described in Bhagavad Gita as Prakriti, not Purusha. In Bhagavad Gita 10.12, only Krishna is addressed as Purusha. Parabrahma Parabdhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam. You are the supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode, the purifier, the absolute truth, and the eternal divine person. You are the primal God, transcendental and original, and you are unborn and all pervading beauty. Krishna is the original Purusha, and the living entities are Prakriti. Thus, Krishna is the enjoyer, and all living entities are meant to be enjoyed by him. Therefore, any woman who seeks a material husband for her protection, or any man who desires to become the husband of woman, is under illusion. To become a husband means to maintain a wife and children nicely by supplying wealth and security. However, a material husband cannot possibly do this, for he is dependent on his karma. Karmana Devanitrena. His circumstances are determined by the past fruitive activity. Therefore, if one proudly thinks he can protect his wife, is under illusion. Krishna is the only husband, and therefore the relationship between husband and wife in this material world cannot be absolute. Because we may desire to marry, Krishna mercifully allows the so-called husband to possess a wife, and the wife to possess a so-called husband for mutual satisfaction. In Ishopanishad, it is said, Tena Tektena Bhunjitaha. The Lord provides everyone with his quota. Actually, however, every living entity is Prakriti or female, and Krishna is the only husband. Ekala Ishwara Krishna Arasabhabhritya Yara Aiche Nachai Sei Taiche Kare Tritya. CC Adi 5.142. Krishna is the original master or husband of everyone, and all other living entities, having taken the form of so-called husband or wife, are dancing according to his desire. A so-called husband may unite with his wife for sense gratification, but his senses are conducted by Rishikesh, the master of the senses, who is therefore the actual husband. Hare Krishna. So, really grateful to all of you for allowing me to make a presentation here on Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 5, Chapter 18, Shloka 19. So this chapter deals with the prayers of the various residents of the Jwambu Dvipa. From 1 to 5 we see prayers to Hayashirsha, Lord Hayashirsha by the Bhadrashrava in the Bhadra Varsha. Then prayers to Lord Narsimhadev by Prahlad Maharaj in Harivarsha. Prayers to Lord Kamadev by Lakshmi Devi in Ketumal Varsha. Then Lord Matsya will be offered prayers by Vaivasvata Muni, father of Vivasvan. Then prayers to Kurma in the Hiranya Varsha, and then to Varadev in Bhumi, here, the place where we are staying. Okay. So till now we have seen from Shloka 1 to 6 in the Bhadra Varsha, how the prayers are offered, and they are offering their obeisances to the Lord in the second shloka. And the most wonderful point that we have often seen in often being repeated in as a quotation from Mahabharata, the same kind of shloka we see in the third number of shloka here. Aho vichitram bhagwan vicheshtitam gnantam janoyam himnisan na pashyati dhyayan asad yari vikram sevitum nirritya putram pitaram jiji vishati. Here they are saying, alas, how wonderful is the act of the Lord. Gnatam jano ayam hi mishan na pashyati. Na pashyati. Pashya means to see. Na pashyati means cannot see. The foolish materialist cannot see the reality of the material creation. Dhyayan asad yarhi vikram sevitum. And he's meditating on how he'll gather lot of sense enjoyment by any means. And what will he do by gathering that? He desires to enjoy that. And when he is desiring that, nirritya putram pitram jiji vishati, he is not able to see the reality that only a few days ago his father has died or some relative's son has died. And even after seeing their death and burning their body, he's still in that deep conception that this will not happen to me. So the most dangerous thing for a sadhaka is the point that he has this understanding that he has time. And actually that's the real reason for laziness, procrastination, because somewhere down the line in our mind we have this thinking that maybe I still have time, but which is not a reality. We are under this confusion that yes, I have extra time and that I can use that time to progress in Krishna consciousness. So two words are used in the shloka: vichitra, vicheshtitam. Vichitra means vichitra here proper trans wonderful. Vishishta rupena chitra. Chitra is something beautiful, but vishishta, there is something wonderful in that. And vicheshtitam. Cheshta is kriya or action. This is the vishesh kriya of the Lord. What is that vishesh kriya? Bewildering the living entities through his illusory potency. Just like His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, we were sharing one when he was in Vada for his Bhakti Vaibhav course. He stayed there for 2 years. There is one devotee who is a magician, and he came there with his students, and there he was performing magic. And the magic was so real that all the devotees were like stunned seeing the magic, because sometimes he used to cut somebody's head, sometimes he used to make a rabbit, and sometimes so many wonderful things he was doing. Then Radhesham Prabhu couldn't hold back the curiosity. So he, at the end of the show, he went to him and he told him, "Tell me, is this all real? How can you bring a live rabbit from your cap? And how can you cut that person's head?" So that devotee told that we have a rule in our magic school that we are not allowed to tell how we do this, how we perform this act. But he, at the end, he told Prabhuji that I'll tell you in one thing: this is all illusion. There is no reality. We just create an illusion, but that illusion is so real that we just cannot. The person standing before us just cannot figure out what we have done. We are just somebody who creates an illusion. So imagine an ordinary person creating such great illusion. So why can't the Lord create an illusion that yes, I am somebody's husband, I am somebody's wife, I am somebody's son, I am somebody's daughter, and we stick to that relation so deeply that we are not able to move ahead. Just like last 15 days, a couple came and they were all very newcomers to the temple, and some devotees they were in the guest reception department, so they were saying that do you need something? So they told that yes, we need to see somebody because we have a lot of questions. And they came, and then the devotees introduced me to them that these are newcomers and they have some questions. So the point was, they had a son who was 16 years old. He went to play cricket and all of a sudden he collapsed on spot and he left his body. 16 years old guy, they showed me his picture, very good looking, well built, and no background or no history of any disease. And all of a sudden he gets collapsed. They check all the video recordings, has somebody hit him, this, that, and everything. His investigation is done. But because he's a senior manager in a company, so he could have all those facilities. And the mother was crying all the while. So I said, yes, what kind of help do you need from me? That is the time the mother spoke that I want my son back. Can you give it back to me? And I want the same son. Now, this is a time when you cannot just be goody, but at the same time, you have to be sensitive to the needs of people. I said, yes, I can give you back your son. There's no great deal in that. And then I quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Krishna brought back his own 6 brothers who were killed by Kamsa back to life. He brought Sandipuni Muni's son back to life. And he brought the 10 sons of the Brahmana in Dwarka back to life. So there are so many instances where Lord Krishna has brought back dead people back to life. So nothing great. Even our Narad Muni in Chitraketu's case, we see he brought back the dead son back to life. So there is not a big deal to bring your son back. But what will happen if you bring your son back to life? Okay. He said, no, we'll be happy with him. I said, okay, nice, that's great. What will happen when you grow old? He said, we'll die. Okay, then don't you feel that your son will start crying and he will say that I want my parents back again? And then he'll do something and get you back again. And then he'll die and then you get him back again. How long is the cycle going to continue? But the point is, there is no real understanding. There is no real understanding of what the reality is. And that is why there is one beautiful shloka that comes in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the demigods appeal to Lord Vishnu. This is the Samudra Manthan pastime that is coming up, and it's a very beautiful shloka. This is 8.5, and this is the 23rd shloka onward. When the demigods, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they go to Lord Vishnu, and they are praying there at the Shvetadvipa, and they are praying to the Lord because they want to tell the Lord that the demons are creating havoc and this can destroy the entire creation. And they want to make a point that this is not the time for destruction, this is the time for maintenance and creation. That is the point Lord Brahma is making. So he is going to Shvetadip, and this as we see in the 10th canto, Lord Brahma is praying, and what happens all of a sudden? He hears the voice. He is not able to see the Lord, but he hears the voice, and that is how he passes on the message. So this is the 25th shloka of the 5th chapter, 8th canto. Tatra drishta swarupaya shruta purvaya vai prabhu. Yes, this is the shloka. So very, very wonderful shloka. Yeah, it is coming on the screen. Yeah, this one, the same thing. Stutim abruta devadbhir giribhis tva avahita indriya. So here, tatra is what they're speaking about, the Lord's abode, that place, tatra, that place. Adrishta swarupaya. Adrishta, they couldn't see the Lord. Who? Especially Lord Brahma, because he was in charge of the demigod and he's praying. Shruta purvaya. But that same Lord Brahma, who had heard initially the Vedas from the Lord, Vai Prabhu, Stutim Abruta Daivadbhi. He prayed the same prayers which he had learned from the Veda. Okay. Giribhi to Avahita Indriya. Giribhi means by sound or song or any prayer that he is speaking. Okay. Avahita Indriya. And his mind was fixed on the Supreme Lord, and that is where he could, simply because Lord Brahma had heard the Supreme Lord from Vedic literatures, with a fixed mind he offered prayers to Lord as written or approved by the Vedic literature. So he's praying here. He's praying to the Lord, and that is how the Lord will reply to his prayers. So the point here, Prabhupada makes is very beautiful point. Prabhupada makes in this purport is Lord Brahma will get that signal. Okay, now he will get that signal not by seeing the Lord. The Lord will not come in person. The Lord will come as sound. Okay, so that sound or that hearing is equal to seeing. Let's take some example. How hearing is seen. Because this is a very, very powerful point and very important point for a sadhaka to understand. Just like Shripad Ramanujacharya writes this in the 6th chapter commentary of Bhagavad Gita. He says when Ashtanga Yogi becomes mature in his realization, he will see the Paramatma in his heart. But when a Bhakti Yogi becomes mature in his devotion to Lord Hari, he will see his Guru Maharaj in his heart. That's the difference between a Bhakti Yogi and a Ashtanga Yogi. The point is, hearing is seeing. Dhritarashtra was blind. But did Dhritarashtra see the war, or did he hear the Gita from the Lord? No, he was hearing from Sanjay. And what Sanjay spoke was the exact same reality which is spoken by Lord Krishna on the battlefield. And that is how he could see. So his hearing became his seeing. Even though blind, his hearing became his seeing. He could witness the war, he could see the war, he could feel the war. If Dhritarashtra, just by hearing from Sanjay, could feel the war, he could see that romancha and that kampa and that voice getting choked because his sons are getting killed. Bhima killing on the 11th day 30 of his sons in one stroke. He's feeling the war, he's experiencing the war. Lord Brahma, Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti. He is speaking, the Lord is speaking in his internal body, in his mind, and that is how he is able to hear the voice of. So if all these people by hearing they can feel, they can see the Lord, then why can't we? Why can't we? Because that deep connection with the Guru is not there. Dhritarashtra was a very malicious person, but still he could see everything because he had trust, he had faith, he was deeply connected to Sanjay. That is what he's saying is true, and this is what is happening there. How long or how many times in a day do we remember our own spiritual past? We sing in the morning Yeshastri Sandhya, but do we really connect with our spiritual master? I was hearing an offering given to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj by one of his disciples. So when Maharaj left back to the spiritual world, all his disciples were in great distress, and they called all the senior members of the GBC and they were asking for help. Now, what should we do in this time when our Guru Maharaj has left the world? And the most prominent question that came was, how could Maharaj leave so early? Again, the same concept, that just like husband-wife concept, he cannot function here and she cannot function without him. Same things happen between the disciples. Yes, there has to be love, there has to be some affection for our spiritual master, but that shouldn't make us dysfunctional, because that dysfunctionality is showing that we are still performing our sadhana or devotion on a very external platform. We are not internally connected with our Guru. Then the GBCs, they told, what do you think? Your Guru Maharaj left you, so what will happen? He said, your Guru Maharaj was such a great person. Some Matajis, they asked the GBC that we were chanting all the while and devotees were doing kirtan and yajna. So why didn't Krishna save him? So they give a very practical and a brilliant answer. The GBC, they said, your Guru Maharaj, just like Lord Chaitanya made a specific moon day where it was so inauspicious that all people came out and chanted Hari Hari. He made that inauspicious moment into a very auspicious moment by allowing and inspiring the entire country, Bharat Varsha, to chant the names of Lord Hari. Similarly, your Guru Maharaj made this Corona virus pandemic as an event for all the world, means not only ISKCON devotees, devotees of all the Gaudiya Math, devotees of all the four sampradayas, non-devotees, all other spiritual organizations, you won't believe, were chanting and praying for His Holiness Bhakti Charuta. They were chanting various names of Lord Vishnu and they were praying to Lord Vishnu. So GBC is told that he was such a person who got the entire world connected through the power of holy name, just like Lord Chaitanya did. Entire world was chanting for him. So it was this they told a very pertinent point. They said, do your Guru Maharaj, does your Guru Maharaj need your chanting? No. At no given point our Guru Maharaj needs our chanting. He wants us to keep chanting so that we can connect to Krishna. That's the point. His departure was so glorious that he united the entire world. All the four sampradayas were chanting for him. That kind of a glorious departure. So his departure was a service for us. His departure was not painful. Yes, indeed it was painful because we will not get his association anymore. But that is a part which has to happen someday. So that reality also has to be accepted. The point is, we never see anything as Krishna's plan. Just like this mother couldn't see the entire picture, that this, we are not parents, we are not owners of the child, we are caretakers. Just like our Guru Maharaj has taken our custody or our, he is responsible for our care and upliftment. Similarly, a disciple is also responsible for taking care of the spiritual master by his proper actions, so that his actions doesn't hurt the spiritual master. So the same point, hearing. Now, this couple didn't have that understanding, that real understanding. And that is why they got so badly stuck up. That is what is illusion. That is what is Maya. They were saying that we want the same person. I said, how many days have passed? He has left his body. They said it is 5 months. So it takes a year to reach. Even if you want that child back, it will take you at least 7 months. Now they are already in their 40s, early 40s, 41, 42, both husband and wife. They said, we will take one more chance. We'll get him back again. I'll become pregnant once again and get that same child. It is not possible because 7 months it will take for him to return back home, even if you want him. Because there is a certain protocol that has to be followed. You are not the controllers here. Anishoyam, 8th canto. Vyasdev says, Anisha, we are not the controllers. After death, what is going to happen, even that is not in our control. So these prayers are very pertinent. Why I'm just revising it so that it will be nice for me as well, because it's good when we revise things. So then the point is, are even learned people bewildered by Maya? Yes, fourth shloka is saying, yes, even great learned sages are vadanti vishwam kavayasmanashwaram pashyanti chadhyatma vido vipaschitaha. Even learned sages, advanced in spiritual knowledge, see the world as temporary and speak of it as temporary. But even after speaking, tathapi muyanti, even they are bewildered. When they speak, and this is the same condition of all of us. He speaks such brilliant classes and gives such deep analogies, but at times even we are bewildered. It's like once when ISKCON was new and a lot of new devotees were joining in the West. So Prabhupada and his initial disciples, they were going on a morning walk, and all of a sudden a beautiful young lady comes and passes by, and it has become a habit now for the Westerner. It's that time. So immediately, that eyes turn and they're looking at a beautiful young lady. And they forget, they are so absorbed in seeing that beautiful girl that they forget that we are with our spiritual master. And all of a sudden they realize that, oh, we are with Prabhupada and that we have to behave properly. And they all of a sudden they turn their faces and Prabhupada is looking at them. And Prabhupada is looking at them and Prabhupada is asking them, isn't she beautiful? Now it's a question where your spiritual master is asking you like, so it's difficult to answer yes or no. So that is what is happening. Even devotees who are hearing daily on and off, still we all tend to get bewildered because that is the power of Maya. And in the fifth and the sixth shlokas, they are glorifying Lord Hayagriva. Now from 7 to 14, this is a very particular section where Prahlad Maharaj personally is offering his prayers in the Hari Varsha. He's worshipping Lord Narasimha there. So many devotees also, hasn't he gone back to spiritual world? Yes, he is there in the spiritual world as well. He is here also worshipping the Lord because he wanted all the people to go back. So he's praying for all of us. So in the seventh shloka, he is glorifying Lord Narasimha. Eighth shloka is offering his obeisances to the Lord. And he's offering his obeisances to the Lord and praying Karma Shyam Randaya Randaya. So, my dear Lord, please vanquish our demoniac desires. What is the demoniac desire? The demoniac desire is to enjoy matter. That's the most demoniac desire. Try to control matter, try to enjoy matter. It is against our real nature. That is why it is called as demoniac. Tamo grasa om swaha abhayam abhayam atmani bhuishta om shrav. By your mercy, let me become fearless. So this is surely going to happen. Like we will be getting illusion time and again, time and again. This will happen. Let me tell you a story. You may have heard this, but let's revise it. There was once a fight between a mongoose and a snake, and the snake used to bite the mongoose. And as soon as the snake used to bite the mongoose used to run and come back again. But eventually, the mongoose killed the snake. Now, what was happening? When the snake used to bite the mongoose, it is a venomous snake. So the mongoose knew a herb in the forest nearby where which was useful for what? To dilute the poison and remove the poison. So used to go eat the herb and come back. Fight, go eat and come back. That's the same thing we have to do. Every day we have to do the same thing. Since objects will attack us, we will be hit by the poison of enjoyment. We have to eat the herb, that is chanting and hearing. We have to be with Krishna through hearing and chanting and remove the poison, go back again in the world, do our duties, come back getting bitten, again eat the same herb. We have to do this till when? Till the snake is killed. What is the snake? Material desires and anartha. So don't expect that the snake will not bite us, because this is a forest of material enjoyment, and every step there is a different colored snake that will come and bite. You have to fight till the last breath here. That is why Krishna in 5.20 made it very clear. You may be a devotee, you may be a sadhaka, you may be anything, you may be a pure devotee. Shaknoti hai vaya shodum prak sharira vimokchana. Till the last breath, kama, krodha, udbhavam, vegam. There will be forces. When there will be contact between the sense objects and the senses, there will be vega, there will be a force of what? Kama and krodha, lust and anger. But one who tolerates, Sir Sukhinar, he will be happily staying in this world till the time is in his body. Now, how do you keep tolerating? That's true that we have to keep tolerating, but how? So there is a simple example. Maharaj was giving this example. He was saying, when a river has to take a new route, if there is some obstruction, to the river and it has to take a new route. When the new route has to be taken by the river, it's very difficult to flow from different regions because there is no defined path. Initially, it is very difficult. But how long it is difficult? Till the time the river finds its proper path and makes the path a routine path. Similarly, for a sadhaka, anartha nivritti is slowed down. Anartha nivritti will take a long time if we follow our old pattern. Just like this disciple, they had an old pattern of looking at every beautiful person who comes across. So it has become a pattern. And when we don't follow this old pattern and we try and break this old pattern and try to sit, it is very difficult. Yes, it is difficult, but that's the easiest solution. That's what we have to do. When my eyes are demanding, I have to withdraw my eyes. That is why Krishna in the second chapter gives the example of a tortoise. Sita pragyasya ka bhasha, in that definition, he gives the example of why? Because it is able to withdraw. We have to learn the art of withdrawing the senses. Otherwise, that same graph will become kama krodoscha yashodum. There will be waves of kama and krodh again and again and again and again. And that same irritation and that same agitation of mind will not allow us to happily practice. That's how it has been developed. This place has been developed in that pattern only. So how as a sadhaka we can fasten our anartha nivritti is by breaking our old patterns. That's the easiest way. We can fasten and we can easily cross because the mind is so habituated to the old practices that it doesn't allow us to get attracted to Krishna. Just like it is dragging us towards Krishna, towards sense object, we'll have to lovingly tell the mind that, okay, you may want it, but that's not good. And how do we do that? How is that force applied? It is applied easily in the association of. So the responses has to be changed. And once the responses are changed, the track or the way of flow of the river is once fixed, then there is no problem for the river. It will just Gange Vaugam Udanmati. Just like Kunti Maharani is saying, the river will flow and meet the ocean. That's the end destination. Now, what will be effect of this formation of new response? It will help our mind withdraw from the worldly designations at the right time. Just like in so many pastimes, we see this king, he left the world at a certain point, he handed over to his sons. Why? Because he has to withdraw. What will happen if he doesn't withdraw? He will be humiliated. Why humiliation? Because there will be a time when people don't want you. When you grow old, people want you to just sit, relax, and chant your holy names. If we push ourselves, surely there will be humiliation. Let's take three examples: Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, and Dasharath. Bhishma already practiced whole life, and that is why he tells the Pandavas, now you go back. I want to withdraw from all the designation and I want to focus on Lord Krishna. It became easy because he was practicing for whole life. He was ready for that detachment. Contrary exact, Dhritarashtra never practiced till the last breath. And that is why he was so badly humiliated by Vidura. He had to go through the painful purification of humiliation. And third is Dasharath Maharaj. Dasharath Maharaj wanted to renounce, but he got stuck up in between the attachment of his wife Kaikai. He wanted to leave, but he got stuck up. And when he announces to his ministers that I have a desire that I want to make Lord Ram as the next king, and everybody is so happy. What happens to him? How does his mind cheat him? Nobody loves. Am I so useless? And that is what he speaks to the Sabha. Because that is a natural response, but you have to withdraw from that response. And then the people say, no, it is not like that. Your son is so qualified that we can't wait for him to become the king. That is where he feels happy. And then he's ready to hand over the kingdom to his son. He happily hands over. But then the event flows and we all know the story. So we have to be ready. Otherwise, we will be surely humiliated. If not by our own people, then by Mother Nature, for sure. For sure. Will be badly humiliated. So to avoid that, we have to be ready. 9 shloka Then Prahlad Maharaj is saying, actually, these are the shlokas which we have to take during Narsing Chaturthi and meditate because they are so powerful. In the ninth shloka is saying that may everyone be non-envious by practicing Bhakti Yoga. He is saying, Manasa Bhadram Bhajatat Adokshaje. Let my mind become peaceful by practicing Bhakti Yoga. And may our minds be absorbed in Lord without motivation. We'll come to this point. It's very beautiful. Yes, this is the shloka. Manascha Bhadram Bhajatat Adokshaje. Adokshaje means what? He's saying, let my mind be absorbed in Bhakti Yoga without any aveshyata, no matir apya. Ahaitu means no motivation. I just want to love Krishna. I just want to love Krishna. There is no other motive other than loving Krishna. Then the next shloka is saying, the right kind of attachment will lead to perfection. Now, this is a very brilliant point. Most of the time, devotees are like, I have to give this up, I have to give this up. No, it's not like that. 10th shloka is saying, right kind of attachment will give you perfection, will give you liberation. Attachment is the natural quality of a soul. Ma is not agara, dara, atmaja, vitta, bandhu. Sangha is attachment. Yadi syad bhagavat priyeshu. If that same attachment is transferred to Bhagavad Priyeshu, the person loving the Supreme Lord, what is the problem? That attachment in itself will cause liberation. And this is exactly contradicting to the shlok that we are reading, Prabhupada's translation, Prabhupada's purport to this shloka and the current shloka, the 19th shloka, 180 degree. Why? Because their attachment, if your husband or your wife is a devotee, very great. Just like one of our devotees from Mumbai congregation, Vamshidhar Prabhu, he left his body. His wife is such a gem, that lady is. I mean, great respect for her. When Prabhuji was leaving his body, when he was in his last day, this lady, she goes and tells him, Prabhu, now everything is over. Everything is over. Just focus all your attention on Lord Krishna. Don't focus on anything else. Everything else will be taken care of. This is his wife saying him. I mean, glorious is this person. Glorious is this person. She's telling her husband, don't focus anywhere, just focus on Krishna. Everything else will be taken care of. And Prabhuji does that, and hearing the holy name, he leaves his body. Now, this kind of partner, he's saying, right attachment will lead to perfection. Prabhuji got his perfection. He could remember Krishna because of his wife. Where is the question of not remembering Krishna? But the point is, right kind of attachment will lead to perfection. So the word is Bhagavat Priyeshu. The person should be also attached to Lord Krishna. And his desire should be that we go back to Krishna. Then everything is all right. And then 11th shloka is saying, what we have to do in association of this Bhagavat Priyeshu? Hear about Krishna. That's the only thing we have to do. And then life will be quickly perfected. Kovai na sevet mukunda vikramam. Then life is easily perfected. Who will not want to perfect his life easily by serving the Lord? So this is in the 11th shloka. This last. Haratya ajo ant shrutivir gato angajam povaina sevet mukunda vikram. Who will not serve that Lord Mukunda? Who, by hearing about whom everything gets purified. That is the power of hearing about the Supreme Lord. And just by hearing, the devotees develop all the good qualities, but the non-devotees will never develop all this. So this is what is happening. Then the link to the second section is there any greatness in the householder who have all scriptural knowledge and good family but devoid of bhakti? 13th slok, they will say, there is no greatness. If they are not connected to Lord Hari and his devotees, there is no greatness in this family. It is useless family. And Prabhupada writes, such a couple is a low-class couple who is attracted to temporary things. Prabhupada writes very harsh. A low-class couple who is not attached to the Supreme Lord. They're just attached to the external beauty of this world. Therefore, in the 14th shloka, he says, I take shelter of the Supreme Lord, Lord Narasimhadev, who can tear apart all my material desires and free me from this material desires. And this same Prahlad Maharaj, when we see in the 7th canto, Lord Narsinghdev is asking, ask something. He says, no, why I should ask? I don't want anything. I'm so satisfied. I'm so happy. And later he'll realize, oh, my father was a mess with devotees. So he then says, oh, please forgive my father. He says, already forgiven. 11 generation back and forth, all liberated. Don't worry about it. Then from 15 to this section, here, prayers of Mother Lakshmi in the form, Vishnu, Lord in the form as Kamadev. 16 shloka will tell us how Lord accepts service from Mother Lakshmi and reciprocates with her desires and emotions. And this is a very intimate shloka. 16 shloka is like a very intimate shloka where Lord is personally reciprocating with Mother Lakshmi. We'll not go into the detail, but Prabhupada writes it. He's very intimate with, just like Ativa Sulalita Gati Vilasa, Ruchira Hasa Lesh Avalok Leelaya, Kinchit Utambita Sundara Bhruma. And this is all glorification of Mother Lakshmi. Her beauty is being displayed here. Subhaga Vandana Arvinda Shriya Ramamana Ramayan Indriya Ramayate. The Lord is pleased by seeing her beauty and is enjoying her beauty. That is what is given in this shloka. And he is trying to fulfill her desires because the service she has rendered. Now, most of the time, we also have this question: so why so much love only for Lakshmi? Why not for the living entities? This question may arise in our mind. Now, let's take an example of a mother and a child. The child also serves the father, and the wife also serves the husband. Now, the child may serve and reciprocate with the father to a limited extent because he's not able to completely understand what's happening in the father's mind. And he doesn't have that capacity to fulfill the desire of his father to that great extent. Because there is limitation, because he has his own desires and he's struggling. But the mother is not like. Mother can serve the father and reciprocate with the father's desire to any extent, any damn extent she can. So the point is not why she and not me. The point is, do you have that capacity? She has unlimited capacity to serve the unlimited Lord. We are infinitesimal. Our capacity is also infinitesimal. And so, but the Lord requires unlimited enjoyment. We can give enjoyment. There is no doubt in that. But it is limited. That will not satisfy the Lord to that great extent. That is why he expands himself as Radharani. Dui Deha Dhari. That two Deha. Why? Because he feels that I have so much of desire. This Amsha will not be able to satisfy me. So I have to expand myself as Radha. So the point is, the concern is who. When I ask why not me, the concern is me. The concern is not Lord. But Lakshmi Devi is not like her concern is only Lord. Because she understands his heart and she has the capacity to please him and serve him. Just by seeing the movement of the eyes, a wife can understand what's happening in her husband's mind. That's what capacity she has. At least she should be having this capacity for a happy married life. That's what is expected from a qualified wife. That's one of the qualities that she has to display when she gets married. Just like we see in Ramayana, Lord Ramchandra, when Kevat is the boatman who helped them cross the river. And when Kevat crosses the river, and Lord Ram is so indebted, so he's just looking here and there. Nobody understands why he's looking. Only Mother Sita understands what's going on in his mind. Immediately she takes a ring and gives it to Lord Ram. Okay, take this and give him as a feast, because Lord Ram wants to remunerate. That's what's going on. So she could make out what's going on in his mind. She could make out what's going on. That's what is the capacity and the quality of a wife. And this is what Lakshmi Devi is doing here. She's serving. Now, even if you see in the story of Kevat, she did this one event takes place when Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi. Now, she is happy there serving Lord. And in the Shweta Dvipa, where Lord Vishnu is taking rest and Mother Lakshmi is personally serving, there comes a tortoise, a big tortoise, and he sees there is something very bright and pink. He feels that there is some beautiful lotus. Let me go and touch that lotus. So he goes there, but later on, Mother Lakshmi sees that this tortoise coming closer to the feet of the Lord. The tortoise felt the Lord's beautiful feet as a beautiful lotus, and that is why he is coming there. And when he comes, not understanding that this is the Lord's feet, Mother Lakshmi says, "Hey, go away from here." So that tortoise feels bad in the Shweta Dvipa. But the Lord understands the heart of that tortoise. He says, "Don't worry. Next avatar, I'll fulfill all your desires." Even Lakshmi Devi understands, "Oh, I shouldn't have done this." And that same kevat is that same tortoise from the Shweta Dvipa, whose desires remained unfulfilled to touch the Lord's feet. And that is why when he is washing, even Sita Mata doesn't say anything, because she understands that it was his previous desire to touch the lotus feet. So he's bowl after bowl, he's washing the feet, washing the feet. And Mother Lakshmi says, "Okay, this is between you and your Lord, you do whatever you want." And that way he happily is washing feet and drinking water and distributing to everybody. So Mother Sita understands, because she is the Lord's internal energy. Internal energy means what? You understand the internal system of the Lord, what he is thinking, what he is doing. So now when Lord gets down and Lord asks him what I should give you, so Mother Sita immediately gives that ring, and he gives it to. So this is the time when this ring of Mother Sita is transferred to Lord Ram, and that ring is given later to Hanuman. Okay, and that ring has Ram on it. So this is how the ring is transferred. Now Lord is asking Kevat, what should I give? Because he's saying, I don't want anything. Utarai, usko कहते हैं in Hindi we say utarai. Utarai means when you get down from the boat, you have to pay it somehow. So Kevat, see how smart he is. He say, "My dear Lord, you and me are in same business. When two people are in same business, they don't take money from each other. So I don't want money from." Lord Ram shocked. Everybody shocked. What is saying? Same business means what? So that Kevat makes a very beautiful point. He says, "My dear Lord, just like I ferry people across river Ganga from one shore to another, I ferried you across Ganga from one shore to another. Similarly, when there is time when I have to leave this world, kindly ferry me across this material existence so that I don't come back." Both are in the same business. Lord also, what he does, one who takes shelter of his lotus feet, he ferries him across to the spiritual world. That is what service he has rendered. So he says we are in both in the same occupation. So do that favor for me. I don't want any money from you. Let me go back to the spiritual world where I can serve you eternally and happily. So Ma Sita, she is Lakshmi herself from that same Shwetati. She is serving so nicely. But when that same Lakshmi comes to this material world, she becomes Chanchala. She is not known as Lakshmi anymore. She becomes Chanchal. Chanchal means very, she doesn't halt at one place, from here to there, from here to there. So there is one Shubhashit, very beautiful that person has written, Subhashitkar. He says, "Mano madukaro megho manini madano marut. Ma madhu markato matsya makara dasha chanchala." He's saying there are 10 chanchal. Makar, there are 10 makars which are chanchal. Makar means words that are starting from ma. So what are the 10? Mana, mind. Madhukaro, bumblebee, honeybee. One flower to another. And mind, one object to another object. Megho, megha is cloud going from one place to another. Manini, manini means a lady who has falcon. Husband gives her 10 things. She will not take any. No, not this, not this, not this. Manini, man, she has taken one. Madan, Madan is Cupid. Every moment he is displaying so many objects. Marut, Marut is wind. Ma is Lakshmi. Mother, mother is one who has drunk. Markata, monkey. And Matsya, fish. 10 things are so chanchal. And Lakshmi's name comes in this 10 chanchal people. And she is the most chanchal. Most chanchal. So Lakshmi herself feels agitated when she leaves the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And only when she goes back to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, then she feels happy, satisfied, and settled. If Lakshmi, when she comes here, she is feeling agitated, she is feeling chanchal, then what to speak of a petty living entity like us who feels chanchal every now and then seeing different objects? Lakshmi feels satisfied going at the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, we will also feel satisfied only when we get established at the lotus feet of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. Only setting at the lotus feet of the Lord will make us happy. And this, His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj was giving a wonderful example. He was describing the Nalkuer Maniguri pastime. We are hearing from Maharaj. And Maharaj was saying there is a pair of siblings which is the most deadliest. Sister makes the person deaf, dumb, blind, and paralyzed. And the brother later on kills that person. Who are these siblings? Lakshmi and her brother Poison. When person gets a lot of wealth, he becomes deaf, dumb, blind. He doesn't move from a place. Why should I work? Sit in one place. He becomes deaf. He cannot hear others plead. He becomes dumb. When somebody comes for help, he will not speak. He becomes blind. He cannot see the pain of others. For money, when he has money, he can do anything. He says, I can kill anybody. I can do anything. I can do this. That's how Lakshmi makes a deaf, dumb, blind, and gets a person doing nothing. And because of this, the person eventually dies. That is what the brother does. So this is a pair of siblings. Maharaj was jokingly saying this. But this is what happens when a person gets wealth, because that wealth carries the mindset of Lakshmi, which has now become chanchal apart from the association of Lord Vishnu. Now, there is, people ask this question. So, people, even when they don't get, they're not displaying good qualities, how do they get so much of wealth? Initially, we used to think that maybe because it is their past activities from the past life. Yes, that is there. But Prabhupada makes, in one of his purport, he makes it very clear, it is not Lakshmi. Lakshmi will never go to a person who is not follower of Lord Hari. That is Durga. That same Durga, which is the energy of Lord Shiva, gives him that wealth. And when he is in the peak of his pride, she will hit him so hard, that he will get the best of the blows and he'll come to a real understanding. That was what happens in the Sati pastime. Daksha is taken to such a great height of pride. He does one yajna after another yajna, and he is then coronated as the Prajapati, and then the head of the demigods, and this and that, and he's continuously going up, and he thinks, I have not done any mistake, because if I would have done any mistake, then immediately there would have been reaction. Nothing is happening, that means I am right. And that's the mistake. His pride is inflated to such a great extent, and that one prick, the balloon is blast. So material nature is so powerful that it will wait for that person to reach that height, and from there she'll hit him so hard that, just like Daksha, he'll get the realization of his life. You are no more doing any mistake. No more doing any mistake. Because Daksha, when he gets the head of a goat, he comes to the realization, my God, what a blunder I have done. He begs forgiveness from Lord Shiva. So material energy acts like that. The same Durga will kill that same person. When Ravan was creating so much of havoc, all the demigods, they go to Lord Shiva and they ask him, Baba, he's your bhakta, he's your devotee. How to kill him? Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas ji is writing, Lord Shiva tells the demigod, Arey Baba, he cannot be killed by anybody. Only Lord Ram can kill him. Even I cannot kill him. Lord Ram has to come personally. Then he will be killed. So they say, how to call Lord Ram? They say, then Lord Shiva is saying, Ramcharitmanas. He says, sit. Let's all sit together and chant Hare Krishna. And they're chanting Ram's name. And by that chanting, Lord Ram is pleased. And then he says, okay, I'll come. You just assist me by becoming monkeys. That is what is given in Ramcharitmanas. Because Gita says, Paritrana sadhunam vinachaya. There are some demons who can only and only be killed by Lord, nobody else. And for their deliverance, They are so qualified. They are so qualified that only when Lord comes, they can be delivered. And that is why for special people, Lord incarnates for special people in a special incarnation, because they're so qualified, but they're negatively qualified. So Lord says, Baba, it's all okay now. You come back, wind up. The Lord personally comes and then winding up takes. They're negatively highly qualified. Otherwise, Lakshmi cannot be touched by any other person. Sita cannot be touched by Ravan. You all know this. What Ravan got was Maya. Maya Sita. Vedvati came. We know that Prabhupada quotes from Matsya Purana. And when he wanted Maya Durga, he didn't get Durga ji. He got Mandodari. Lord Vishnu personally intervenes there because Durga ji calls Lord Vishnu, please save me because my husband has donated me to this rascal. And that is where Lord Vishnu tells me she is not original. The original is there in Pataloka with Mayadana. Then he goes there and marries Mandu. So demons will never get Lakshmi because Lakshmi can only be settled at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So that same realization here Lakshmi Devi is sharing in this 19th shloka. Striyo vratais Rishikeshwaram Swato. Women, those who are desiring a husband. Here aratya loke patimas sate anyam. Anybody other than Rishika Ishwaram, the master of the senses. Tasam nate vai paripantya apatyam. What is the point of having such a husband who cannot save you, your kids, your life, your wealth? It is better to have a person who is independent. Aswatantra, last word. And there is only one person who is aswatantra. Aswatantra means dependent. And Swatantra means independent. There is only one person who is independent, and that is Lord Vishnu. So she is sharing her personal realization that please take to devotional service because only Lord Vishnu can save you from all dangers. None of the husband or none of the wife can save you from imminent dangers of birth and death. So she is saying the only real husband is Lord Vishnu. No material husband can protect you. She's herself speaking her realization. I have seen it long time, so please don't go anywhere. Take only to Lord Vishnu devotional service. Okay. Now, if she is so qualified, but if we compare Mother Lakshmi's life, but she is rejected in Vrindavan. When she wants her own husband as Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, there is the supreme personality of God, Lord Krishna. But she is not allowed. There she is not allowed. That same Lakshmi who came out from Samudra Manthan with a lotus garland, with a garland of lotuses, and she's moving here and there, trying to find one who can fully satisfy her and who is faultless, and one whom everybody else takes shelter. And that is where she is examining in the 19th shloka, and she finds only one person qualified, that is Lord Vishnu. And then she goes and directly puts the garland. In everybody else, she finds some fault or the other, and which is a valid fault. She is not a stupid person who can just keeps finding fault. No, she finds a valid fault. She is compared to a golden creeper in eighth canto. She is compared to a golden creeper. Creeper means that which one needs a support, and she's searching for that support. That same Lakshmi, when she comes to Vrindavan, she doesn't find that support. Why? Because she is not fitting. Her mindset is not fitting for the Rasa Leela, the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So in Vrindavan Vahimavrita, the author is comparing Mother Lakshmi, who's now presenting her experience here, that don't take to anybody else than Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, but that same Lakshmi Devi is rejected in Vrindavan. And there is a comparison between the Lata. Lata means the creeper of Vrindavan and Lakshmi Devi. So they are saying that this Lata are more fortunate than Lakshmi Devi. Now, somebody may ask why these Latas are so fortunate than Lakshmi Devi. Because this Lata or this creepers are personally sown by either Radharani or Krishna, watered by Radharani and Krishna, and by the touch, they are nourished by Radharani or Krishna. So when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, The Gopikas are writing, they're writing to Krishna and asking Krishna, oh Krishna, okay, we can survive because we have some sense of how to take care of ourselves. But what about the creepers whom you have planted? How will they survive? Because they survive not on water, they survive on your touch. When you touch them, they feel so happy, so elated. They bloom and keep showering flowers on you. They survive on your touch. How will they survive? In the fire of separation, they will die. Krishna, please come back. So the Gopikas are telling there is one tamal tree that Krishna you have planted, and you used to go and water him and touch him every day. And see, now he has become into such a great giant tree. But now, Krishna, because of lack of your touch, it is dying. At least have some mercy on this tree and come back and save this tree. That is the comparison. So the trees of Vrindavan are being personally nourished by Radharani and Krishna, either by their glance or by their touch or by their smile. Anyhow, they're nourished. So the tree gets stimulated by the touch of Lord Krishna, and they start secreting sap or honey because that is the reaction to the touch of Krishna. And then Krishna touches their love in the form of that sap or that honey that is flowing as the nectar from the trees. So when will our hearts start pouring out that love for Krishna, just like the trees are producing honey or nectar? It is only when we have that touch of Krishna. There's no other way. Till the time we have touch of Krishna, it is difficult. It is difficult. And how do we get that touch? We get that touch by hearing from a bona fide guru. And then sound, which is not different from Krishna, enters the heart, and we can feel that touch of Krishna. And then our heart will start secreting that love, that liquid love, and Krishna will taste that love. Just like these trees are secreting by the touch of Krishna, that is how we will start secreting that love. When we actually get that touch, when we hear that sound, then that heart will become soft. Either it is holy name or Krishna Katha. And through that hearing, our heart will get soft. But before that, who comes into picture? Shri Guru comes into picture. That glance of Guru, that touch of Guru, that thinking, when Guru thinks about his disciple, even that touches the consciousness of. That is why Diksha is what? Sparsha, Chakshu, Manasa, Vak. 4 kinds of Diksha. Just like birds, they incubate by touching. Guru also nourishes us by teaching, touching. He embraces us, he blesses us, and then we can see Guru. Chakshu, fish. Fish, just by glancing, their eggs get incubated. When Guru glances us, when morning we come for Mangal Arti Darshan or Shringar Arti Darshan, the Lord glances and we get nourished. Similarly, Guru also does that. Manasa Diksha, mind. Guru is constantly thinking about disciples. I was hearing one offering to His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj, and one of his disciples, His Grace Kalakanta Prabhu, he was saying that when Maharaj used to call every single disciple of his, he had a whole list. On this day I will call this. And when he was, that was his meditation. I have to call this disciple. I have to call this. He hasn't called me from long time. Oh, why is it not calling from me? That is how Maharaj is. And when Maharaj used to call his disciple, he was constantly reciting shlokas from Srimad Bhagavatam. He was also meditating, but at the same time, he was connected to Krishna, because that connection to Krishna is very important. Connecting to disciple is okay, but till the time you have that strong connection to Krishna, you cannot benefit the disciple. So Manas constantly meditating, just like a tortoise does, and the eggs grow and hatch. Similarly, our Guru is constantly watching us. Never feel that our Guru has left us or he is far away from us. No, he is constantly Manasa, he is constantly thinking about this. And what? There is always, when we hear from our Guru, it is like personally hearing from our Guru Maharaj. When we do all these things, then it becomes very easy for our hearts to secrete that honey of love for Lord Krishna, and we can personally experience Lord Krishna in our life. Just like here, Mata Lakshmi is personally experiencing the touch of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, and is reciprocating with her through glances, through appreciating her smile. That will also happen to us. Only thing is we have to just continue. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for very valuable association and giving so much nectarian Prabhu and so many pastimes. Especially, I got touched by that snake and Mungusa's fight, and where the material desires will keep on coming, like bite like a snake, but we still have to go and get the herb, which is the Nama, Hare Krishna, and then becomes strong and connect to Krishna. And so many pastimes, Prabhu, and also the river, like when it has to go to new road, it will take different flow, but we just need to, it might be difficult in the beginning, but it just, that ultimately leads to ocean. So, and we have that the kama, krodha, irritations are all this come, but it is just constant chanting and in association with the devotees, we can overcome those things. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for such a beautiful class. And I see so many hands up for the questions, Prabhu. Anuradha Devidas Mataji. Anuradha Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's such a awakening class once again. Prabhu, I have two doubts. So first one is, often when this is spoken like the tortoise, for a sadhaka like me, I feel if I try to, what is it called, curve my sense, especially I will say relating to eating, I may go on like 1 month only khichdi and nothing else. And then, but inside me, I'll be like meditating upon, as Krishna, as Krishna says, like 3.6, that, I'll be like a mityachari. Senses are, mind is hovering over the sense object, but artificially I might be, doing just very austerity. So how do we strike the balance, Prabhu, so that we can curb down eventually? But again, it should not be like when we stop that, when we just go out of even from the position where we are. So that is my first doubt, Prabhu. Can you please enlighten? Can't hear you, Prabhu. Are you muted?
Ji, you're muted.
Yeah, am I audible? No?
Yes, Prabhu, you're audible.
Sorry. One of our senior brahmacharis here, Mataji, he did the same thing. He used to restrain himself, and initially he was he was into hotel management. So he had the habit of having very different kinds of and spicy foods and flavored foods. He was habituated to eating. So when he joined ashram, he restrained himself very deeply and eating very simple and austere foods. And what happened eventually was he felt very agitated in his mind.
Prabhu, you got muted, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Now good, Prabhu.
So he, that senior brahmachari, he was restraining himself because initially he was in hotel management and he had that habit of having delicious food. So later what happened was every small thing would agitate his mind and was creating a lot of problem for his spiritual practices. So once when Radhesham Prabhu came here, he asked him, Prabhuji, this is what is happening. We read Atyara Prayasascha Prajalpo Niyamagra, all these things. So how I'm not at all feeling comfortable here. So Radhesham Prabhu gave a very practical answer. He says it's so natural because we have been eating so many foodstuffs for such a long time. Our mind has been habituated. So we cannot, just like I gave the example of a river, that path will not be formed in one day. We are practitioners, we are sadhakas, we are sure that we'll fail. So to create that path will take some time. So till then, the path is clearly visible. Clearly visible means where you have that confidence that yes, even if some prep, which is very tasty and very delicious, is kept before me, I will not feel agitated or disturbed. Till that time, when you don't feel disturbed, means that path has already been drawn. Okay, so your mind is comfortable seeing it, and even if you take one bite, you're happy. So till the time that path is chalked out, what you have to do is you have to reduce that. There is no question of stopping. There is no question of stopping. Stopping is only for those who have reached that height of sense control. For a sadhaka, you have to balance yukta ahara, yukta vihar, yukta karma, yukta cheshta, yukta swapna, yukta avabodha. Then there will be dukkha. Yukta is balance. Because our mind is habituated to eating tasty foods, delicious food. If you withdraw, then mind will not cooperate. We need the cooperation of mind because soul is anyways very pure. Soul doesn't need all this. The partner, the mind has to be dealt with properly. And the entire gamut of sadhana bhakti is to train the mind. So the prayers of even great acharyas, they are not saying make me devotee. They are saying make the mind a devotee. Dushtaman, tumi kisera Vaishnava. What kind of a Vaishnava are you? So they're trying to make the mind a Vaishnava. Soul is already Vaishnava. He is not a Shakta, he is not a Shaiva. So what happens is we externally show that, okay, we are.
Prabhu, it got muted again, Prabhu. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu, it's okay.
Very sorry,
So,
Prabhuji, that time it was
no, the point is we have to balance. Gradually, you have to, just like if you like eating rasgulla, you are eating 6 rasgulla, reduce it to 5, reduce it to 4. But never will there be a time when you will not be liking rasgulla because rasgulla is rasgulla. Everybody and anybody likes it. That's so natural. Why to become unnatural to things? But the point is, the thing has to be regulated. Then it will not become unnatural. Your mind will also be satisfied. Your mind will also cooperate with you, and mind will help you go ahead because it is not feeling insecure. Mind feels insecure. How many times have we sat down with our mind and told the mind, "Thank you so much. You helped me today, chanting nicely, dealing nicely with devotees." We never thank, and that is why mind feels yeah, he is not even appreciating. So appreciation is not required to you. Appreciation is required to that mind. Devotees, most of the time, devotees are, I feel that devotees should appreciate. See, the appreciation you don't need. A soul doesn't need appreciation. He's full in himself. Mind needs that appreciation. So when we treat mind as a partner, then mind will start supporting you. And gradually, then you can have that path where all things will happen the way you want. But then what will happen? You will perform austerities here. And when we go back to Krishna, then Krishna will open his tiffin and the whole tiffin will be filled with rasgulla, peda, barfi, this, that. Then what will you do? You will not do austerities there. You have to eat there. So that habit also has to be. So regulation is only till the time we reach Krishna. And that too because the senses may go astray. And also take the sadhaka as make the sadhaka astray. That's why to just keep it regulated, we have that restriction.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I had a follow-up question. Sorry, Prabhu. And the thing is, when you said that for a perfection for a jnani is for seeing Paramatma in the heart, but for a bhakti yogi is seeing Guru Maharaj. Can you elaborate? That is so beautiful to hear, but very difficult to realize, Prabhu. So can you speak some more?
Yeah, Krishna appears as your spiritual master. So seeing spiritual master in heart is like, spiritual master is the representative of Lord Krishna in this material world. And when you are very well connected and whole life you have followed the instructions of Guru, because directly we are not allowed to go and associate with Krishna because Krishna doesn't have that guarantee that you will perform like you were doing initially. So all those things are first tested on in a relation between the Guru and disciple. And when Krishna feels very comfortable, yes, he has been loyal to his Guru all the while. And similarly, Guru is my representative, so I can make that conclusion that he will be loyal to me. Then Krishna calls you back. So seeing Guru in heart is not different than seeing Krishna, because whose representative? Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra is representing Krishna. Is no different from Krishna. So Gurudev is also called Bhagwan because he has all the powers of Krishna with him. So seeing Guru is showing that you have a very deep connection with your Guru, and through your Guru, you are ready to serve Krishna further. So that is how it is explained.
Very beautiful, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think Suresh is from Prabhuji. Please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Very nice.
Dandavat Pranam, Sureshwar Prabhuji. Nice to see you.
Very nice practical class. And it means difficult topic, easy to understand, Prabhu, with your examples and description. Prabhu, what's happening now? I'm a little confused, Prabhu. In Ketumala Varsha, right, prayers are offered by Lakshmi ji to Kamadhenu, who is nothing but Pradyumna, right, Prabhu? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
But what's the part of Samvatsara part, Prabhu? Here we read in that 15 verse. What those are the living entities there, the Samvatsara?
Samvatsara is also just like we have Varsha, so there is a Samvatsara Varsha, where different people stay at different places. So different places we see, just like we have US, we have UK, we have India. So these are the different places where different devotees stay. Okay. And they have a specific deity to worship. Just like we have Hanumanji, and Hanumanji is also staying in one of the Kim Purusha Varsha. So he is worshipping Lord Ram there. So his prayers will also come in the following chapter. So he is worshipping Lord Ram there, and then he'll disclose his heart to Lord Ram and what I expect, how I want to serve him.
Okay, the residents are
different devotees, different forms of the Lord, and they are offering their prayers and their realization.
Okay. So Prabhuji, yeah, I see that you mentioned seeing is hearing. Prabhu, sometimes, like the Lord also says, right, in Bhagavad Gita, right? Yeah. So he explains something and he asks, are you seeing? So sometimes I'm able to understand, Prabhu, sometimes don't understand how seeing is, how hearing is saying. So
just like I gave example of Dhritarashtra and Sanjay. Sanjay was given the vision to see, but Dhritarashtra was blind. But by hearing, he could experience. So the hearing becomes excellent when you can experience what has been spoken. That is excellent hearing. So that quality will come only when by prolonged hearing. This comes in third canto where Kapil Dev speaks to his mother. She is asking that how to become Gunatit. Gunatit means going above the three modes. Then she's saying, then Lord Kapila says, by prolonged hearing, you can easily go above the three modes. So by prolonged hearing, when heart will get purified, sitting here, hearing from your Guru Maharaj, you will be able to experience Krishna right there and then. So that hearing becomes experience, and that experience is what? It is just like seeing, because when you are with somebody, you experience his emotion.
Okay.
So that is how hearing progresses. It ends up into seeing.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like when we go for yatra, most of the devotees, they share their experience that when Maharaj is giving classes, we can actually feel that this Leela is happening. Maharaj is watching that Leela and is speaking it live. And that's the same experience that all the devotees have. How is it that happening? Because that hearing has that power to create. Just like when I say Krishna, immediately there is a sound, but there is nothing else. But by that sound, you can have one image. So sound is always and already connected to an image. So that is how it transforms into seeing.
Thank you, Prabhu. So one general question, Prabhu, on this chapter, like why
when you ask questions, Prabhuji, I feel very scared.
No.
Yeah.
No, very nice.
The senior devotees are asking. I mean, really feel
nice. So this one, is there any specific reason, Prabhu, why in each Varsha they're offering prayers to one form of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is there any specific?
Yes, Prabhu, yes. It depends upon the form of the Lord which you feel attracted. Just like not all the souls must have come from Golok. There may be some who are coming from Saket, some from Dwarka, some from Mathura, some from Pandharpur. So all these souls have their natural inclination to worship a specific form of the Lord. So they naturally are designed for that form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Dandavat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Tiffany Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class. I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah.
I just have one question from something that was in the purport, because we know that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. However, in the purport, it says that all living entities are meant to be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. So, what exactly does that mean, that we are to be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord?
Enjoyed means just like the story comes in Mahabharata, where Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking. I'm just quoting the story so that it makes the point clear. It's not a very appropriate, but kindly excuse me. It will make the point more clear. Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking this question in Mahabharata to Bhishma Dev. He's asking, when a man and woman get in relation, who enjoys more in that relation? So Bhishma Dev says, he quotes a story about a king, and through that story, that king he organizes a great yajna, and somehow he forgets Indra, call Indra, and then Indra becomes angry and he curses that king to become a lady. Then he feels what the use of being a king, so he leaves and goes in forest. But in forest, he's been cursed by Indra, so he becomes a very beautiful lady. So he leaves and goes in forest. Then a rishi sees him, and seeing his beauty, the rishi marries him. Now he is in the body of a woman, and then when he was a king, he had 100 sons. And when he becomes a lady and he marries that sage, he has 100 sons. Now Indra comes and sees that he's still flourishing as a lady in the sage's house. So he says, no, I'll make you king, again a king. He says, no, I'm happy as a woman. Now Bhishmadev is quoting this story. So in that story, he concludes the story by saying that by nature, a woman is what we say, she is given that facility to enjoy more than the Purusha. So similarly, in the Jiva and Paramatma, Atma and Paramatma relation, or the Jiva and Ishvara relation, even though the Jiva is serving the Lord, he is enjoying more than the Lord. That's the natural setting of the Jiva and Ishvara relationship. Just like here, a woman is entitled to given entitlement to more enjoyment, because that's how the setting is done. So similarly, what Prabhupada is using is that we are meant to serve the Lord. Yes, but that service is not one way. It is a bi-directional. It is not unidirectional, only we serving. The Lord also serves us there. Just like I gave the example of the tree and the creepers. They are nourished personally by Lord. So that is how they develop in that relationship. So that service is both direct, not unidirectional, bi-directional.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you. Come back soon.
Anita Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. I think I see rise up by Anita Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very wonderful, wonderful class. So deep understanding, so many pastimes and points you gave. So my question is, you were saying that Lakshmi ji, when she is coming to Vrindavan, her mind is not accepting the Rasleela. And in some lectures also I've heard that Lakshmi ji, when she is entering Vrindavan, which means she is not allowed to enter Vrindavan. So I just want to have an explanation on that, Prabhuji. And then the second question is, you were saying about the 10 kinds of chanchal that Lakshmi ji is having. So can you mention it again? Because I think it was too fast, so I forgot. I was not able to write it.
Yes. First point, Lakshmi ji is not allowed in Vrindavan. That shows that shows the point that if you want to enter Krishna Leela, you need to have a certain mindset. That mindset of simplicity is absolute necessity there. So you will be not allowed in Vrindavan if that factor of simplicity is not there. That factor of service is not there. Lakshmi is always served in Vaikuntha. She is served there. But here, as a gopi, you will have to serve Krishna. You will have to serve the Vrajvasis. So that mood of simplicity and service is not there. Just like Maharaj was saying once, that when he and His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj and His Holiness, I don't exactly remember, there was one more proper disciple. They met after a long time in Vrindavan. And Maharaj was quoting him saying that Maharaj used to stay in Vrindavan. So when they met after a long time, the other Maharaj asked His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, just they are meeting, they bowed down, they offered their obeisance. And immediately after getting up, Maharaj said, how can I serve you? So service is the natural mood of Vrindavan. Devotees are serving Krishna and Krishna is serving the devotee. That is bi-directional service. And Lakshmi ji is not ready for that, and hence she has to get qualified, and she's still getting qualified to enter the Vraja pastimes, especially the topmost of the Vraja pastimes, that is Rasli. And the second that you asked, the 10 Makara, Mana, Madhukara, Megha, Manini, Madan, Marut, Ma, Mada, Markata, Matsya. 10.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, and one more last question is we are worshipping various forms of Lord Krishna, like Baladev and Narasimha and Narayan. So various forms we are worshipping. So what is so that will bring the same result as worshipping of Lord Krishna, or so we have to serve only Krishna to satisfy Lord Krishna. So how it is, Prabhuji? So how the various forms of worshipping Lord Krishna and worshipping directly Lord Krishna is connected? I just want to.
Lord Krishna's worship includes all other forms. So when you are worshipping Lord Krishna, it is understood that you are already worshipping all other forms. Now the point comes, because you have to go back to the spiritual kingdom. So in the spiritual kingdom, there is a certain specific form which you like the most and you would like to serve that form. So gradually as you evolve, that form will be displayed to you by the Lord personally as the Paramatma. And then, or even if you become a sadhana siddha in this life, by the mercy of your Guru Maharaj and Vaishnava, then at the end of the life, you will be taken to that place where you were naturally the part of that place. So even if that concern comes, from where do I belong? So that concern is not a great concern, because Krishna will arrange all the other things. For as of now, we should only be concerned that I have to serve Krishna, love Krishna, and that Krishna will manifest the form of his that I like the most.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so if for example, see, some people they like Lord Narayan form very much. Some people they like Lord Narasimha very much.
Correct.
So in that sense, how it is, Prabhuji? So when they are going back, so they will go back to Vaikuntha Lok, because Lord Krishna, as Narayan, he has expanded in Vaikuntha Lok, right? Various forms. So how it is, Prabhuji? They will go to Vaikuntha.
Correct. So he'll go to the place from where he has come. Right. Okay. What you said is right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Very wonderful class, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Mataji, Harirada Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. I see she's raising her hands. And then after that, Gail Mataji. Please go ahead, Harirada Mataji, with your questions, if you still have questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Okay, so my question was like, we were talking about Lakshmi Mataji, that how chanchal she is. When she goes away from Vishnuji, she becomes chanchal, she wanders, and when she comes close to him, she does his service, his massaging his feet and everything. So the material world people like us, are we in the same way, are like that chanchal, and when we go away from Krishna, we're wandering, laminating, and we're in forgetfulness, but when we come close to Krishna, then we forget all other work other than serving Krishna. Is that how it works?
Yes. Yes.
How to strong our bond with Krishna then?
It's the same way. Do you love your mother?
or how to love Krishna like gopis or like Gaur Nitai or like
Yeah.
Lakshmi.
Do you love your mother?
Of course, yeah.
How did that bond get created?
Service.
Yeah. That's how this.
Okay. Can we do Mansik service?
Of course. But you need that permission because we are not on that platform where we can serve on the Manasa level. But yes, when you grow, mature, you have a clear-cut understanding of Prabhupada books, you can surely do. Just like most of the devotees, when they take rest at night, they do a Manas Parikrama of Govardhan or Vrindavan. And that is how they serve the Lord.
Manas Parikma you said and Manas service, is that the exact same thing, doing it actually counted in
Service
your...
can be of any sort, Mataji. You can, just like we have the South Indian Brahman example in the Purana, where he is cooking sweet rice for the Lord. He is doing Manasa Seva. That is also Seva. If you want to massage Lord's feet, you can do that in Manasa Seva. You want to cook for the Lord, you want to dress for the Lord, you want to tie turban, or you want to make various ornaments and jewelry. You can do. That's all coming under the banner of Seva. Seva is a very broad term.
So that's countable, like Krishna notes that down?
Yes, of course, of course. When it gets more mature, you will be able to feel Krishna reciprocating with you. That's how powerful Manasa Seva is.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Gail Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah,
Hare
I'm.
Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, I'm just following up on your answer to, I think it was Anita Mataji's question about Lakshmi Devi's service to Krishna and her not being allowed, in Goloka. So you were saying that, she was not prepared to serve Krishna. I think you are meaning that she wasn't prepared to serve maybe in the same way as the gopis, with that degree
Correct.
of selflessness.
Correct.
So when we say that, she didn't have that degree of selflessness that the gopis did, that means that she still wanted her position to be respected. Is that the idea? Whereas the gopis, they don't have any care for their position. Would you say it like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She still wanted to be like Lakshmi there, like the queen.
Yeah, so the fact that she wanted to be, that, let's say, recognition maybe as a queen, it demonstrates a level of some degree of desire, should we say, for herself. Can we say like that?
No, not desires. Just like if somebody is habituated to a certain facility for his normal functioning, and if he doesn't get that facility, he is not able to serve Lord Krishna. Just like some of our brahmacharis here are from a very opulent background, from a very rich family. And initially when they came, we had a tin shed here in our temple. We didn't have a proper building. They all used to stay in tin shed. So it was really very difficult for them to adjust, because till the age of 25, we all had been living a very opulent life with our parents, and all of a sudden, so to serve Lord Krishna, I need certain facilities because my mind is not adapted. Similarly, Mata Lakshmi also needs that. It has become her nature. That opulence has become her nature. And that is what she was desiring. That okay, I will not pick up cow dung. I'll not make cow dung paddies. So this is what, yeah. So she was not able to adopt to that system of living.
Yeah. You know, I'm just thinking that, you know, she has her level of needs, and the gopis have another level. Okay, I think I just have to meditate on that a little bit more, because, you know, at first glance, it almost feels like she is kind of, I don't want to say punished, because that's too strong, you know, but that's the only word that comes to my mind right now. At first glance, it almost looks like she's being punished just for being who she is, for having the nature that she does, you know.
Right.
But you know,
that's how it is. The entire gamut of Golok Vrindavan is what will please Krishna, what he desires from me. That is what Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains. It's not about me anymore, it's about Krishna now.
Yeah. And also, a separate point, you know, when we were talking about Krishna enjoying us as jivas, I'm remembering one thing that I've heard, which is that, you know, the position of the lover is better than the position of the beloved, you know, because the person who loves is able to enjoy more than the person who is being loved, you know, which is why Lord Chaitanya came as his own devotee, you know. So I think you were saying something similar, that, you know,
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So wonderful question answers, wonderful nectarian class. There's some comments in the chat box, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the nectarian class. Hare Krishna. And same thing with Induleka Mataji, also wonderful question and answer session.
She also gives very nice classes. Keep on hearing.
Very motivating class, Prabhu. Thank you. Sunita Mataji, Vinta Mataji, very nice class. Thank you.
Devotees. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. I think if nobody has any questions, then we can end the call, and please obeisance, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I didn't see Lalita Mataji and Deen Bandhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Now my class is complete, Mataji. You can end the call.
So let's pay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Enlightening class, Prabhu. Please come again. So quickly, Prabhu. Let's pay our obeisance to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpa tarupyascha krupa sindhudevacha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namaha. Antakoti Vaishnavitika. Pranara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sukumar Gaur Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you.
We'll end the call here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.